Hello, and welcome back to Comrades Continue with Misery. I know it's been a long time, but I was able to get to it. 15. He didn't see her again until late afternoon. After her visit, work was impossible. He made a couple of futile tries, wadded up paper, and gave up. It was a bust. He rolled himself back across the room. In the process of getting out of the chair and in the bed, one of his hands slipped and came within an ace of falling. He brought his left leg down, and although it took his weight and saved him the fall, the pain was excruciating. It felt as if half a dozen bolts had suddenly been driving into the bone. He screamed, scrabbled for the headboard, and pulled himself safely over the bed, his throbbing left leg trailing behind the rest of him. They will bring her, he thought incoherently. She'll want us to see if Sheldon really, truly turned into Luciano Pavarotti, or if it just sounds that way. But she didn't come. There was no way he could bear the rotted ache in his left leg. He rolled clumsily onto his stomach, burrowed one arm into the mattress, brought two and one of the novel sample cards. He dried swallowed two and then drifted for a while. When he came, he thought at first he must still be dreaming. It was just too surreal, like the night when she had rolled the barbecue pot in here. Annie was sitting on the side of his bed. She had a water glass filled with novel capsules on his bed table. In her other hand, she had a Victor rat trap. There was a rat in it too, a large one with mottled gray-brown fur. The trap had broken in the rat's back. Its rear feet hung over the side of the trap's board, twitching randomly. There were beads of blood in its whiskers. There was no dream, just another day lost in the funhouse with Annie. Her breath smelled like a corpse decomposing in rotted food. Annie? He straightened up, eyes moving between her and the rat. Outside was dust, a strange blue dusk filled with ruin. It sheeted against the window. Strong gusts of wind shook the house, making it creak. Whatever this had been wrong with her the morning was worse tonight, much worse. He realized he was seeing her with all her mask put aside. This was the real Annie, the inside Annie. The flesh of her face, which had previously seemed so fearsomely solid, now hung like lifeless dough. Her eyes were blank. She had dressed, but her skirt was inside out. There were more weasels on her flesh, or food splattered on her clothes. When she moved, they exhaled too many different aromas for Paul to count. Nearly one whole arm of her carbon shredder was soaked with half-dried substance that smelled like gravy. She held up the trap. They came to the cellar when it rains. The pinned rat squeaked feebly and snapped in the air. Its black eyes, infinitely more lively than those of its captor, rolled. I put down traps. I have to. I smear the trip plates in grease. I always catch 8 or 9. Sometimes I find others. She blanked for 3 minutes, holding the rat in the air. A perfect case of waxy catatonia. Paul stared at the rat as it squeaked and struggled, and realized that he actually believed that things could get no worse. Untrue. Unfucking true. At last, he began to think he had just sailed off into the oblivion forever. No fuss or fanfare. She lowered the trap and went as if she had never stopped speaking. Drowned in the corners, poor things. She looked down the rat, and a tear fell into its matted fur. Poor things. She closed one of her strong hands around the rat and pulled back with the string with the other. It lashed in her hand, head twisted as it tried to bite her. Its squeals were thin and terrible. Paul pressed the heel of a palm against winning. How heartbeats. How he struggled to get his way, as we do, Paul. As we do. We think we know so much, but we really don't know any more than a rat in a trap. A rat with broken back that thinks it wants to live. The hand holding of the rat became a fist. Her eyes never lost that blank, distant cast. Paul wanted to look away and could not. Tendons began to stand out in her inner arm. Blood ran from the rat's mouth in an abrupt thin stream. Paul heard its bones speak, and then the thick pads of its fingers punched into its body. Disappearing the first knuckle, blood partnered on the floor. The creature's dulling eyes bulged. She tossed the body into a corner and wiped her hand indifferently on the sheet, leaving long red smears. Now it's at peace, she struggled in that. I'll get my gun, Paul, shall I? Maybe the next world was better. For rats and people both. Not that there's much difference between the two. Not until I finish, he said, trying to enunciate each word carefully. That was difficult, because he felt if someone had his mouth shot full of Novocaine. He had seen her low before, but he'd seen nothing like this. He wondered if she ever had a low as this before. This is how depressive it got just before shooting all the members of their families themselves at last. It was psychotic despair of the woman who dresses her children in bath, takes them out for ice cream, walks them down the nearest bridge, lifts one side of the crook of each arm, and jumps over the side. Depressives kill themselves. Psychotics rocked in the prison cradles of their own egos, want to do everyone a favor and take them along. I'm closer to death than I've ever been in my life, he thought, because she means it. This bitch means it. Misery? She asked, almost as if she had never heard the word before. There was a momentary fugitive sparkle at her eye, hadn't there? He thought so. Misery, yes, he thought desperately about how she could go on. Every possible approach she mined. I agree that the world's a pretty crappy place most of the time, he said, and then added inanely. Especially when it rains. Oh, you idiot, stop babbling. I mean, I've been in a lot of the pain these past 2 weeks, and... Pain? She looked at him with sallow, sunken contempt. You don't know what pain is. You don't have the slightest idea, Paul. No, I suppose not. Not compared to you. That's right. But because I want to finish the book, I want to see how it all turns out, he paused. And I'd like to stick around and see too. A person might as well not write a book at all. There's no way to read it. Do you get me? He lay there, a terrible stone face, heart thumping. Annie, do you get me? Yes, she said. I do want to know when it comes out. That's the only thing left in the world I want. I suppose, unaware of what she's doing, she began to suck the rat's blood from her fingers. Paul jammed his teeth together and grimly told himself not to vomit. Would not. It's like waiting for the end of those chapter plays. She looked around suddenly, the blood in her mouth like lipstick. Let me offer again, Paul. I can get my gun. I can get all of this for both of us. You are not a stupid man. You know I can never let you leave here. You know for some time, right? Don't let your eyes waver. If she sees your eyes waver, she'll kill you right now. Yes, but it always ends, doesn't it, Annie? In the end, we all swing. A ghost of a smile at the corners of her mouth. She touched her face briefly with some affection. I suppose you think of escape. So does a rat in a trap, I'm sure. Wait, but you're not going to, Paul. You might live as long as your stories, but it's not. I can't let you leave here, but I could go with you. It's only just for a moment. He thought of saying, all right, Annie, go ahead. Just call it off, and then he needs and will to live. There was still quite a lot of each in him. Rose up and clamored momentary weakness away. Weakness was what it was. Weakness and cowardice. Fortunately or unfortunately, he did not have a crutch of mental illness to fall back on. Thank you, he said, but I want to finish what I've started. She sighed and stood up. All right, I suppose I must have known you would because I brought you some pills, although I don't remember doing it. She laughed, a small crazy titter which seemed to come from the slack face as if by ventriloquism. I'll have to go away for a while. If I don't, what you or I won't matter. Because of things, I have go when I feel like this. A Place in the Hills. Do you ever read the Uncle Remus stories, Paul? He nodded. Do you remember Brer Rabbit telling Brer Fox about his laughing place? Yes. That's what I call my place up country. My laughing place. Remember how I said come back from Sidewinder when I found you? He nodded. Well, that was a fib. I fibbed because I didn't know you well then. I was only coming back from my laughing place. There's a sign over the door that says that. Andy's laughing place, it says. Sometimes I do laugh when I get there, but mostly I just screamed. How long will you be gone, Annie? She was drifting dreamily toward the door now. I can't tell. I brought you pills. You'll be all right. Take 2 every 6 hours, or 6 every 4 hours, or all of them at once. What will I do? He asked her, and didn't. He didn't want her attention to return to him, not at all. He wanted her to be gone. Being here was like being with the angel of death. He sat swiftly in his bed for a long time, listening to her movements. First upstairs, then on the stairs, then the kitchen, fully expecting her to change her mind and come back with the gun after all. He did not even relax when he heard the side door slam and lock, followed by splashing steps outside. The gun could easily just be in the Cherokee. Old Betsy's monitor whirled and caught. Annie gunned it fiercely. A fan with the headlights came on, illuminating a shining silver curtain of rain. The lights began to retreat down the way. They swung around, dimming, and then Annie was gone. This time she was not heading downhill towards Sidewinder, but up into the high country. Going to her laughing place, Paul croaked and began to laugh himself. She had hers, she was already his. The wild gales of mirth ended when she looked at the mangled body of around the corner. A thought struck him. Who said she didn't leave me anything to eat? He said. He asked the room and laughed even harder. In the empty house, Paul Sheldon's laughing place sounded like the tattered sail of a madman. It's the end of that chapter. See you later.